let's get into where David Menzies is. David Menzies has also done a planes, trains, and automobiles style journey, where I believe he is the John Candy character, and poor Lincoln J is his traveling partner, Steve Martin, I guess. Yeah. He flew from Toronto all the way to Winnipeg, then got in a rental car in Winnipeg, drove 3.5 hours back through Manitoba, then through that little portion of Minnesota that sticks up into the province, and then out the other side, and then through Western Ontario over to Emo. Why? Because the Pride bullies are up to no good there. So if people followed my coverage of what's happening in Emo, I covered the Human Rights Tribunal, where an outside Pride organization, which is funded by the federal government, demanded not just a declaration of, I don't know, Pride Week, Pride Month, Pride Season, Pride Day, whatever it is. They wanted it declared, and they wanted to fly the Pride flag on the town flagpole, which they don't even have. None of these people are actually from the town of Emo. And to my actual shock, because I sat in on the entire tribunal hearing, the town lost, and the mayor. And so the mayor has to go to re-education, and now he's had his bank account garnished to the tune of $5,000. And I think that's more than the mayor's salary. Mayor Harold McQuaker, he's a local businessman. I think they have a trucking company. He does this out of love. Like, I think he makes $3,500 a year. And he refused to back down. He said, first of all, you're not from here. You don't have the right to force us to use our municipal infrastructure for your political purposes. Municipal infrastructure that they don't have, by the way. And they want a neutrality in these things. And for some reason, they won. And
because McQuaker it's a Human Rights Tribunal.
And McQuaker called it extortion, and he said he wasn't going to pay. So they went and took it out of his bank account. And he still has to go to the re-education gulag, which I believe will be like putting a cat in a wet paper bag. I don't think he's gonna go. So anyway, David Menzies did the planes, trains, and automobiles trip to get there, because today they are. Mayor Harold is making a statement after an in-camera council meeting, which means that David could not go before the council to hear what was happening. But this is David's first video from on the ground. It's minus 20 there.
Jeez.
And David did not have a good trip either, because they had to sleep in their SUV the first night.
No.
They got in late, and then they had to sleep in their SUV, minus 20.
Oh my gosh.
So again, another luxury vacation for the Rebel News journalists. Let's hear.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Emo Township, Ontario. And folks, I'm here to cover a story that has been generating headlines around the world for all the wrong reasons. You see, this little township, population 1,300, was recently ordered by the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal that it must recognize Pride Month, that it must raise a Pride flag, even though this township doesn't have a flagpole, but never mind. The township has been fined $10,000. Mayor Harold McQuaker has already had $5,000 taken out of his personal bank account. Now, in about 90 minutes, there's going to be an in-camera meeting by the township to figure out their strategy of how they're going to respond to this ruling. It's in camera, as I said. That means we cannot come in to cover it, but we are hoping that after the meeting, we'll be able to interview Mayor McQuaker and the councillors, see what their strategy is going forward with this outrageous ruling regarding compelled speech. Folks, we need your help. Can you go to pridebullies.com, pridebullies.com. We want you to sign our petition, and can you help us with our expenses? They're very meager. Emo Township, it is so remote. It's closer actually to an airstrip in Minnesota than any airstrip in Ontario. Lincoln Jay and I, we had to sleep in our SUV last night. There was no room at the inn, so we're on a very shoestring budget. If you can, please chip in and help us report this very important story.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Yeah. And look at this. Oh, go on. Yeah.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, so the organization who brought forward this human rights complaint is Borderland Pride. Borderland Pride is funded by the federal government. And what they're demanding is an official acknowledgement by the municipality. The municipality has also been fined $10,000. Mayor McQuaker has been fined $5,000. And they did have a pride parade. The activists from outside the community colonized little tiny emo, and they brought their cars and they drove around and had their own little unsanctioned pride parade, and nobody did anything to them. They just let them have their stupid little day. But I guess the point of this all is, who's in charge there? Is it the mayor, the elected mayor? Or is it Borderland Pride, who is funded by Justin Trudeau to do this sort of garbage, to colonize these rural communities with their uptown values? People continue, by the way, to vote for Mayor Harold. So there were originally there were 3 councillors, one of them being the mayor, involved in voting down the celebration of Pride in emo. Look at this. I would say that that's vandalism. Anyway, this is vandalism. One of the 3 didn't run for re-election after the controversy. He just didn't run for regular election. He didn't put his name back up because he's like, for the pittance they pay us, why am I doing this to myself, right?
Yeah.
The other 2 did run and they both got reelected. So if the people of emo disagreed with what the mayor was doing, he would have lost.
Exactly. No, they don't disagree. They were sitting there happily. And when David said that they don't even have a flagpole, what exactly are they ordering them to do? Stand there? They want the mayor to stand there and flag it himself. I just shared an image of Douglas W. Judson gloating about the situation.
He's the lawyer.
He's the lawyer, but it also says here that he's the
litigant
co-chair, isn't he, of the Borderland Pride? Yeah, so he's the co-chair of Borderland Pride with a sign that says "Make Emo Gay Again." But here's the thing. We've done many interviews on what I call pride supremacy, and the gay people want out, many of them anyways. They're like, leave us out of this stuff. We fought for equal rights, not supremacy. We've got our gay marriage. We want to be left alone. Stop talking about us. The LGB wants to separate from the rest of them. So put your sign down, calm down. This is very frightening, though. This is full-on communism. We talked about bank seizures with the trucker convoy. Now you have a mayor representing his constituents, not wanting to waste money and time on things like this. Doesn't even have a flagpole, but yet they win all of this.
Yeah. I love how cantankerous he is about this, though. Where he's like, no, this is extortion. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not going to your stupid re-education camp. I'm not doing any of this stuff. Like, he's
gotta love it.
Everybody's cantankerous Fox News watching grandpa.
Yeah.
You know, like, and which makes him absolutely severely normal. And quite frankly, probably the perfect guy to be mayor of this town. I don't know him personally, but the people there seem to like and support him based on his electoral record. And the man doesn't need any of this garbage. He has, I think it's a trucking company in and around the area. He just does this because this is where he lives, and he wants it to be a place that's good for his grandkids and his kids. And I remember listening to the Human Rights Tribunal. Borderland Pride complained that Mayor Harold's son had said something objectionable about the Pride organization. And that became evidence. And it's like, so now your relatives' statements can be used against you? God, I hope that's not the case. in real life. Like, it was
Exactly.
just so stupid. They're like, well, you said that the pride is this, and that. And when they're battering your dad through the news, yeah, I would probably say some pretty mean things too.
Exactly. Well, I'm so glad that Rebel News is there. Such an important story for us to cover. We have been bringing the other side of the story on this issue, and now this is the story to show how out of hand it is, even though the pendulum is switching in some areas.
Yeah, if you
Oh,
want to
there you
sign
go.
the petition and support David's journalism there, you can do it all at
Mm-hmm.
pridebullies.com. Um, if they can do this in emo, 1,300 people literally in the middle of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
like the little corner of far away from civilization. I think that's the point of doing this to emo, by the way,
Of
is
course.
because if you can do it to emo, you can do it anywhere.
So
And so
share
this
it.
is the battleground. Share it, support emo. I wish we had the address to the municipal office there on that page. We could have people send handwritten letters of support for the mayor.
Well, let's add that.
We should. He deserves that.